What does it mean when we have a reason for a behavior or a mistake? What does it mean when we have an excuse? Do they mean the same thing? In this episode of Know the Difference, we're going to explore the key differences between what is a reason for something that happened and what is an excuse for something that happened. Often these two terms are misunderstood or taken as the same thing, but in reality, they are very different. A reason is commonly seen as a perfect explanation for someone's motive or behavior. An excuse is often seen as a negative, self-serving explanation as someone tries to talk themselves out of trouble. But these commonly viewed understandings are both wrong. Let's get started by first defining a reason and an excuse. A reason, in the truest sense, is an explanation of context. It is the why something happened, or the sequence of events to give the explanation clarity, and to make the story easy to understand. It is an objective description of something that happened. Whereas an excuse, in the truest sense, is a legitimate justification for why something happened that removes or reduces blame. An excuse can completely absolve someone of accountability. For example, I was late because I overslept. That's a reason, but not an excuse. It doesn't absolve responsibility. However, I was late because I was hit by a car. This is an excuse in the proper sense because it exempts you from blame. Why this distinction is so important is that we often see people trying to justify behavior, choices, and points of view with reasons, thinking that because they have a good reason, they are exempt from blame or responsibility. But that is just not true. We are still responsible for our actions, even if we have a reason for them. The truth is, a true excuse is actually rare. It is typically large-scale disasters or critical incidences that are completely outside our control that are acceptable excuses. For someone to be completely absolved of accountability, there would have to be something so far beyond their control that they can only be seen as a victim of circumstance. In many of our workplaces, we normalize having a good reason as the same as having a legitimate excuse, which is where many of our issues can stem from. If you would like to know more about how to communicate accountability in your workplace, then make sure you check out our other videos and our website, roman3.ca, for tools, resources, and support, because knowing is half the battle.